Thanks to the support as a channel member, Jacob Depew. Right, folks, I'm going to keep mentioning this over the next few days as a reminder, because this week I'm not really going to be streaming on Twitch, but there is one night where I am going to be streaming on Twitch, and that is New Year's Eve. I'm doing a New Year's Eve LOLLUJO Hootenanny. We're going to be streaming about 9:30, 10 p.m. UK time, streaming all the way through to the new year, and it's going to be lovely. It's going to be my only stream this week because my good lady is on nights this week, so I can't really stream. But that night I shall, and we'll see you in the new year together. So if you are one of the many people who aren't going to be able to meet up with friends and family and do what you'd normally do on a New Year's Eve, and you find yourself stuck at home on your own, bored, nothing to do, the king of boredom's here. Come and hang out with me on Twitch, and we'll be bored together, play some Football Manager, see you in the new year, and have a jolly good time. The link is in the description below. Hopefully, I'll see some of you there. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 9 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you, both in the league. We're away against QPR and at home against Ipswich. And of course, the big news that you've already seen is we're top of the championship after 7 games. This is what's been going on since you were last with me. I thought we were having a little bit of a wobble here after our good start and with 2 consecutive defeats. But one of them was in the Carabao Cup, so we don't really care. And we've won 3 games since then, which is just lovely stuff. Simon Patton is a genius. And we'll get onto him in a second. But 7 games in, 18 points on the board, 4 points clear of West Brom, the team that knocked us out at the Carabao Cup. But it's all, I won't say it's all thanks to, but largely thanks to Simon Patton, our now 19-year-old Northern Irish striker who we brought in the summer on a bit of a gamble and has now got 6 goals from his first 7 games in the league, 7 from his first 8 in all competitions, averaging a 7.19. I think he's probably quite a good player, and I think we've done quite well bringing him in, haven't we? I know there's still calls for bringing Slavi Spasov in. Not necessary. We've got Simon Patton. We don't need Spasov. In fact, Spasov was on the bench for Oxford in the game that we've just played against them. There he is on the bench for them. Still only the 1 cap for Bulgaria that he got whilst playing for me earlier on last season, I guess, around this time last year. I think he made his Bulgaria debut. He's made 3 appearances for Oxford this year in the Championship, and he's just not the same player. To be honest, he wasn't the same player for Kettering after I left. He scored almost all of his goals while I was still there. He can only score goals for me, apparently, but we don't want him. We've got Patton, and Patton, better, as shown. That was like a changing of the guard game for me. So we're now playing against QPR. If we have a look at the league, QPR are a team hovering just outside of the playoffs, and this is the team that we're going to put out there for the QPR game. In fact, before that, a couple more transfers that I've forgotten to tell you about. We brought Gaz Key back. He played 1 game out on loan, and then Reece Devine got injured, so we brought Key back. Just terminated his loan, so Gaz Key is back at the club. But we also brought in a couple more players just before the deadline. Luke Dreyer is another midfield player who was previously of Crystal Palace. He's probably not going to come straight into our team, but he's a decent squad player for us to have knocking around. And we spent some money on Nathan Holland, who's 25 years old, a Barbadian international. I think he made his debut with us, 2 goals in his first 2 games for Barbados. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, just another player to play in those wide areas. He came up on a scout report as a 95 on his scouting rating, and I thought for 70 grand and a 95, we don't really need him, but we'll bring him in. And he's actually, he's all right. He's made his debut. He was fine. And he's there. He's there if we need him. He's not going to play today, but he's there if we need him. So we're going with Malden in goal, a back 4 of Devine, who has now recovered from his injury, Anderson, Sykes and Lawrence, McCormick and Palmer in midfield. Palmer had been playing on the left-hand side, but has now dropped back deep into midfield the last couple of games. Gooch has gone over to the left, with Burns coming in on the right-hand side, Sammy Schmodix behind Patton up front. Let's get into the game. Let's see if we're as good as it seems we might be, or if it was just early season momentum and team's not really figuring us out. I'm recording this on Sunday, so I've not played this game since like Tuesday, Wednesday of last week. So we might have left it long enough for Football Manager to decide to punish us for not playing, and the momentum that we brought with us might have disappeared over the real life Christmas period. I do hope not, because I am enjoying being top of the Championship as a Peterborough fan. It's a beautiful thing to see, but I also am a realist and can't expect us to stay there for very long unless Patton does go on to be an absolute superstar. I mean, if he carries on scoring at the rate as he's scoring, that's £750,000 we spent on him. He's suddenly like a £30 million player by the end of the season. He carries on scoring at that rate. At 19 years old, he gets 25, 30 championship goals. I mean, look at the Ollie Watkins transfer in real life last year. Look at how much Ivan Toney is being talked about going for as a top championship striker. Patton's younger than both of them. If he scores that kind of level of goals, you've got to be looking at extraordinary levels of money. I've just noticed as well, QPR, I've got my boy Rinamotta playing right back, which is a travesty. I feel like I should go and rescue him from QPR and bring him into Posh and play him in central midfield where we will all love him. We loved him last year. Rinamotta's a hero. Right. This is a bit more like what I was expecting. It's 0-0, 70 minutes gone. Burns isn't really doing anything particularly spectacular. We'll bring Richards on. In fact, what we might do, can Richards play on that left-hand side? I think he can. Yeah, Richards will go over there. We'll move Gooch back over to the right. So we'll switch up to playing with wingers. And we're not going to bring Morganson on. What we are going to do is bring on Louis Reed in midfield. And we'll just play those two in there. And I'm not even going to demand more because I'm happy with a 0-0 away from home in this game. It's a good result. Patton picks up the ball from the clearance from Anderson. It's our first real chance of the game. If it turns into a chance, I assume it will because it's a highlight and Patton shoots across goal. There was no one really up there supporting him. That's the kind of situation where I expect Sammy Schmodix to be right up there in the 6-yard box waiting for that ball across goal. But he wasn't there. And because of that, we're not 1-0 up. It would have been a tap-in if he'd have pushed forward a little bit more. But it's now QPR in the attack, but Reed wins it back in midfield and Patton's running at them again, still with no one supporting him. But now Gooch is through. Reed with the beautiful pass for Lyndon Gooch. I'm taking that as genius management for my substitution. I brought Reed on, who's played the through ball, and switched Gooch back over to his preferred right-hand side, who applies the finish. This is wonderful stuff, and I'm taking all the credit. Patton, dangerous again, plays it back to Reed, and that's a beautiful pass from Reed. That's what you get from Reed in midfield that you don't necessarily get from any of our other midfield players. He just sits back a little deeper. He's a little bit more creative. Maybe he'll hit a little bit of a better pass. And that was a thing of beauty. Right, Sammy Schmodix. I'm going to take off and we're going to go 2 up top because I want to play with, I want to give Tete a try. Who is a target man. It's not really how I normally like to play. But with 2 up top, we can play a target man and Patton as the advance forward. Just play something a little bit different. Kev trying target man. It's basically a 4-4-2 with a target man. I'm doing everything that I stand against. But Tete playing it forward to Patton. But Patton, I mean, it was a poor pass, really. It was the kind of ball that he'd probably want himself. It was an aerial ball, whereas Patton really needs the ball over the top or the through ball for him to chase onto and use his pace. He's not there to win the ball in the air. As Gooch just won a tackle without giving away a penalty. Beautiful. And now he's playing it forward, looking for a Tete, but can't find him. And QPR coming back at us again here, and we need to be aware of what's going on here. That's a fancy cross. Oh, that was a fancy cross. If he'd have done a proper cross, they might have scored. But his fancy cross didn't find a QPR player, and luckily we get away with it a little bit. And I actually think this whole result feels a little bit like us getting away with it a little bit. Although, to be fair, looking at the XG, we're good value for our 1-0, but we weren't exactly tearing them apart, were we? We didn't look like an all-conquering, about to hit the Premier League kind of side, but we ground out a 1-0. And I'll take that. I'll always take that. Couple of changes for the Ipswich game. Then Ipswich, of course, who came up with us last year, but are now struggling a little bit, having got promoted. They're down in 21st place. So I would like to think this is a game that we should be capable of winning, although we are going to have to do it without Anderson, who's suspended. So Deshaun Bernard comes in to play instead of him at centre-back. And we're also moving Gooch back over to the right and bringing Holland in on the left, just because Gooch is better on the right. We tried playing him the other side in the last game. It didn't really work until we switched him back over. So we'll play him back on the right again. And that's why we signed Nathan Holland. I know we can play Palmer out there. And Palmer was looking very good playing in that position, but he also looks very good playing in this position. And the thing with Palmer is he can pretty much play anywhere in that front six. And it's going to take a little while to find his role, I think. He might end up playing in the Sammy Schmodix role. He might end up playing on the left-hand side. He might end up staying in this deep midfield role where we're playing him at the moment. But I'm trying him everywhere. I'm trying to work out how to get the best out of him. Taylor plays it across, and Holland is there. And oh my goodness me, that was very, very close. I feel like that probably crossed the line. I just noticed they've got Pochettino playing for them at right back. Interesting. Jack Taylor in today is making a little bit of a difference in that midfield already. His running, although we've had a lot of value out of McCormick, having bringing him in on a free transfer. He's always looked better with Taylor instead of Taylor. That sentence makes sense to me. And Taylor just has a little bit more energy to burst around as that box-to-box midfielder in there. We've got too much quality in the midfield in the attack now. What a horrible situation to be in. But I want to be able to play Reed and McCormick and Palmer and Taylor and, every Schmodix and all these other players. We've got so much quality. It's going to be a challenge keeping them all happy, I think. But it's a nice problem to have if you've got your cliche bingo cards ready. 0-0 on the clock after 20 minutes though, and I guess we've started a little brighter than we did against QPR, but so we should, because we're at home in this game, and Ipswich are a team fighting relegation, whereas QPR are a team who are looking for promotion. So we should have started better, but we still haven't really created anything in the way of a really solid opportunity. Although I say that, and we're on a 1.3 XG. It's just there's been nothing worthy of a highlight. I guess I imagine from those 12 shots, we've just had a lot of small XG shots that haven't really got us anywhere, but we've had a lot of them, and we need to maybe create something a little bit more solid. And that's what I do wonder a little bit about Patton. He is a very good finisher, but I do wonder if maybe he's not the man to lead the line for us, and he should be part of this attacking midfield three, and with a more traditional striker up there to kind of force opportunities. Patton doesn't really create much for himself. He needs someone else to be in there doing it for him. And we are going to bring McCormick on, and we're going to stick Palmer back out on that left-hand side and go with McCormick and Taylor in central midfield. Palmer's not playing well. We might give him 5 minutes. We'll take off Gooch, and we're going to bring on Wes Burns, and we're going to give Palmer 5 minutes, 10 minutes to see if he can create something on the left before we bring on Richards for him, or maybe even Morganson on that left-hand side, just to see if we've got something a little bit different. In fact, there you go. We've got to bring off Sammy Schmodix. So Taylor gets to stay on. Richards can... In fact, you know what? I'm not going to bring Richards on. I am going to bring Morganson on, and we're going to go to up top again, and we're going to make him a pressing forward, and we're just going to try and force it a little bit, because we should be winning this game. I mean, I know it's a team that we struggled to beat last year when they were in the same league as us, so in the context of the last year, we shouldn't be expecting to beat them. But looking at the league table as it stands right now, we definitely should. Burns playing it forward. And there's no one anywhere near it, is there? Morganson should have been the one dropping deep to get near it. But then I guess I should have put him on a support command rather than attack. And now Ipswich coming forward. If they score here, I'll be grumpy. But Palmer wins the ball back nicely. And we've got a little bit of a counter-attack on here. Morganson's got himself into a nice position. If Palmer can find him, he can. But Morganson can't apply the finish. It goes wide. And we've missed a lot of opportunities today. 2.35 now for our XG. We are just missing chances left, right and centre. And I am sad that you've not got to see Patton looking as good as he has been in either of those matches, because he has been brilliant and he's not shown it there. We look like, this looks like last year's team again, who can't score goals. I promise you we're a good side. Look at the league table. We're definitely a good side. We're just hiding it on camera at the moment. Right, we will be back tomorrow, obviously. Probably somewhere around here. We'll do another 5 or 6 games off camera. Probably win them all and then come back and not score goals. I don't know what you want me to say. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.